See, when it comes to self-improvement, I'm a little obsessive. I like every second of my life to be improving on something that I'm doing not as good right now. Let me know if you can relate to this, but sometimes I feel like I'm guilty because I'm not spending time doing anything. When I'm watching Netflix or when I'm out with my friends, I feel guilty because I could have been using that time to do something productive. But this is a problem. I shouldn't be feeling guilty about having fun, letting loose, and just being laid back. But that's not the case. I do. And this is the issue I have with self improvement. When you're always trying to improve yourself, never do you feel like you're at that point where you've improved enough. There's always going to be another thing you want to improve. Now, I'll give you some context about what I mean. I used to be a very, very socially anxious person and kind of still am. But my whole thing was I wouldn't go out with my friends because I feel like I didn't have enough to say. I didn't know what to say. I kind of felt embarrassed. And a lot of the things that I would say would either not land or people would make fun of me, and I got very insecure. And then I just kind of turned back into my shell and just didn't want to go out. So for me, self-improvement was more, how do I get better at talking to people? How do I get better at socializing and not make a complete idiot of myself every time I go out? And I wasn't much of a cool dude in school either. I was definitely one of the nerdy kids who just played video games all the time, read too much, kept to himself, and I lavished in the fact that I was an introvert, and that would be my excuse for everything. Hey, Yasser, come out? No, I'm an introvert. Hey, you want to come play some sports? No, I'm an introvert. Hey, we're having a party at my friend's house, this friend that you don't know. You want to come? No, I'm an introvert. I don't want to meet new people. Anyway, so my whole life I was like that, and then I finally went to college and I realized this is when I'm growing up. I need to be able to make friends. If I want to find a job, I need to find the skill set to meet people. Now, up until that point, I didn't think you could work on social skills. I didn't think you could improve the way you talk to. I thought if I was introverted, I'm just always going to be introverted. So I started researching online of how to get better at certain things, watching videos of how to be more confident. I started reading books like How to Talk to Anyone, getting some tips on just basic conversation. And of course, thriving with social anxiety. How do you thrive with social anxiety? How do you get better at it? And then you can kind of see a pattern. Basically, all I read is just that, books on self-development, self-improvement. I mean, seriously, check out all of my books. Everything I have is just self-improvement. You've got Smart Speaking, Thriving with Anxiety, How to blah, blah, blah. Catcher in the Rye, that's probably the only book I have that's nonfiction, but I haven't read it, so it doesn't count. Then you've got Jiu-Jitsu, again, and a technical thing, and then Intuition, How Not to Give a Fuck, Getting to a Yes. All of these things are self-improvement, and I'm just crazy obsessed with it. That's all I read. Fast forward about 6 years, and I've done a really good job of getting over my anxiety, and I've gotten much better at where I was back then. I'm doing a lot more public speaking. I won some public speaking championships. Never in my entire life would I have imagined myself doing public speaking given the kind of anxiety I had. But you know what the problem is? When you start measuring your progress, when you start improving all the time, that's all you want to do. You never get to that point where, okay, I'm fine with the state I'm in. And you might think, what's wrong with that? Why shouldn't you always be improving? I shared that exact thought, but the problem is then you're always evaluating your performance. You're always looking for things to improve. In my case, when I'm going out with my friends, I just want to turn my brain off and talk to people without coming home and thinking, why did you say this? This person responded by saying this when you said that. You shouldn't have said this. You should have said that. I'm always evaluating what I can do better. I'm obsessing about self-improvement. And this leaked into other areas of my life. How am I spending my time? Am I being most productive around my day? How much Netflix am I watching? How much time am I spending on my phone? I am a huge nut when it comes to self-improvement. I've tried everything from trying cold showers, every diet you can imagine. I've done hikes. I've done marathons. I've done all sorts of fitness challenges, even though it might not really look like I'm much of a physical specimen, but I have tried a lot of different things. What I have come to learn is it's not like you go from point A to point B and you're at point B and you're like, I am happy with where I am now. I no longer need to improve myself. You get from point A to point B and all of a sudden point C appears out of nowhere. And then you get to C and then D appears, and then self-improvement becomes a loop. You start off somewhere, you get to another place and you find someone who's doing it better, then you want to get to that, and then you get to that. And you do this for everything. If you're obsessed with productivity, if you're obsessed with self-improvement, you will find things to improve. up until the point where honestly you're good to go. You don't need to obsess about it too much. The amount of mental power that goes into constantly evaluating whether you need to improve, it's honestly, it wears you down. Sometimes you've got to be in love with the process itself, the process of improvement, okay? And don't give yourself deadlines. Like, you can't say something like, I want to do a speech by next month and I want to do it flawlessly even though I've never spoken in public in my entire life. It's just an unrealistic goal. You're going to work yourself tired. You're not going to enjoy the process, and it's just not natural. You will feel more stressed out. I'll tell you something funny. I haven't read a fiction book since I was 15. All I've read are non-fiction scientific things about how to do better at this, how to do better at that. And I think now I'm going to actively take a back seat, not do any self-improvement stuff, just allow my brain to work all of what it has, because I feel there's so much self-obsessive information that I read, self-improvement material that I read, that I can't apply all of it. I'll read one book, then the next, then the next, then the next, before I even get to apply that one book or even one chapter of that book. I'm already looking somewhere else. I'm already trying to apply something else. So all of this information is just sitting in my head and I don't use even 20% of it. So I feel it's a better idea to read a book, try it out, then you can move on to the next book. And I'm the kind of person who will be really excited about a book, start it halfway, read about half of it, and then I find that other book. Oh, maybe I should be improving that thing, and I'll grab that book, and then over and over and over. So guys, this is what I've learned. There will never be a point where you are 100% happy with your self-improvement journey. What I'm doing in this channel, I am just documenting my self-improvement journey to show you all the different things that I'm trying, but not obsessing about it. Just doing things one thing at a time, just to see if I can improve my life one step at a time. I don't have to overhaul everything all at once. So, I don't know, I felt like doing a bit of a rant because I think a lot of you watching might also be in that same boat, always trying to improve yourself, and give yourself some slack, and then give yourself some time, and hopefully you'll realize that falling in love with the process is a lot more important, because kind of like bodybuilding, you know, you'll never be big enough, you'll never be ripped enough. There's always someone who's more ripped, or there's always a version of you that looks better. You never get to that point. So give yourself a little bit of time to breathe, lay back, do things one thing at a time, and hopefully it'll help you process things better. I hope it helps me process things better, and if it doesn't, you will find out, because I'll make more videos on this channel and I will document my improvement journey. So thank you for watching. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.